The text from Aaron lit up my phone screen just as I was lifting my coffee cup to my lips. Can't wait to see you tonight, baby. Wear that red lingerie I bought you last week. My name is Madison, and that message wasn't meant for me. Earth to Madison. Carrie waved her hand in front of my face, her bangles jingling. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. I forced a smile, my hands trembling slightly as I set down my cup. Here we were, having our weekly lunch at our favorite cafe, and my world was imploding. Carrie, my best friend since college, sat across from me, completely oblivious that I'd just discovered her secret. Yeah, just work stuff, I lied, watching her take another bite of her salad. How many times had we sat here, sharing our deepest secrets? How many times had I cried on her shoulder about Aaron, about our future together? Speaking of work, you won't believe what happened at the gallery today. Carrie continued, her voice animated. This guy tried to convince me a print was an original Picasso. Can you imagine? I nodded mechanically, my mind racing through every interaction between her and Aaron over the past year. The lingering hugs, the inside jokes, the times they'd both been working late. My phone buzzed again. Aaron, sorry babe, wrong number. Delete that last text. Madison, seriously, what's wrong? Carrie reached across the table, touching my hand. Her concern seemed so genuine, I almost doubted myself. Almost. Nothing, I said, pulling my hand away. Just remembered I have a meeting with a potential donor this afternoon. I should probably head back to the gallery. But you haven't touched your lunch? She protested, gesturing at my untouched sandwich. Lost my appetite. I stood up, grabbing my purse. I'll Venmo you for my half. Don't be silly, I've got it, Carrie said, her smile warm and familiar. Call me later? I nodded, knowing I wouldn't. As I walked out of the cafe, my phone buzzed one final time. A text from Aaron to Carrie, accidentally included in our thread. Did she suspect anything? I stopped dead in my tracks, my chest tightening. Through the cafe window, I could see Carrie checking her phone, her expression changing from confusion to panic as she looked up and met my eyes. In that moment, everything shifted. My best friend and the man I loved had just become strangers, and I felt something dark and unfamiliar stirring inside me. This wasn't just betrayal, this was war. I spent the night scrolling through their text messages. Each one felt like a knife twisting deeper into my chest. 3 years of memories with Aaron, a decade of friendship with Carrie, all of it poisoned by their lies. My phone hadn't stopped buzzing since I left the cafe. 17 missed calls from Carrie, 23 from Aaron. I ignored them all until Aaron's message at 3 a.m. I'm coming over, we need to talk. Don't bother, I texted back. I've changed the locks. I hadn't, but I wanted him to feel as locked out as I felt. 10 minutes later, I heard his key in the door. Madison? His voice carried down the hallway. Baby, please, let me explain. I sat motionless on the couch, surrounded by photos I'd pulled from our albums. Us at Christmas, us in Paris, us with Carrie at her birthday party last month. Now I noticed how his hand rested on her waist. How long? I asked when he entered the living room. Maddie, it's not what you think. How? Long? He ran his hands through his hair, his tell when he's about to lie. It just happened once. We were drunk and I held up my phone, displaying their messages from 6 months ago. Try again. His face crumpled. 8 months. But Madison, we never meant to. To what? Get caught? I stood up, my voice eerily calm. Were you going to tell me before or after the wedding? There wasn't going to be a wedding, he whispered. The room spun. What? Carrie and I? We're engaged. We were going to tell you next week. I laughed. Actually laughed. You proposed to my best friend while still engaged to me? I'm so sorry. He reached for me, but I stepped back. Don't touch me. I grabbed my coat. You have until morning to get your things out of my apartment. Anything left goes in the dumpster. Where are you going? To see my fiancé's future wife. I drove to Carrie's apartment, adrenaline fueling every mile. She opened the door on the first knock. Mascara streaked down her face. Madison, please. I cut her off. 8 months, Carrie? 8 fucking months? I love him, she whispered. And I loved you? I pulled the friendship bracelet from my wrist, the one she'd made us in college, and dropped it at her feet. I hope you're happy together. You deserve each other. Walking away, I felt something shift inside me. Sadness crystallized into determination. They thought they'd broken me, but they'd just given me a reason to become unbreakable. You're planning to do what? Mateo nearly choked on his coffee. We were sitting in his office at the gallery, where he worked as our head of security. I need access to their emails, I repeated, sliding a USB drive across his desk. Just the gallery accounts. Madison, that's illegal. He pushed the drive back. And insane. More insane than my best friend and fiancé planning their wedding behind my back? Mateo's expression softened. Look, I get it. They're garbage people. But hacking their accounts won't undo what they did. No, but it might prevent them from doing worse. I leaned forward. Yesterday, I found out they're planning something with the gallery's finances. I heard Carrie on the phone talking about moving funds after their wedding. That's concerning. Mateo frowned. But we should take this to HR. With what proof? I stood up, pacing. They'll deny everything. I need evidence. Before he could respond, Isabel from accounting knocked on the door. Madison, there's something you should see. In her office, Isabel pulled up several spreadsheets. I've been tracking some irregularities, small amounts being redirected from our acquisition budget. It started about 8 months ago. The same time Aaron and Carrie started their affair. How much? I asked. Nearly $50,000 so far. Isabel pointed to a series of transactions, all authorized by Carrie, but with your digital signature. My stomach dropped. I never signed anything. I know. Isabel's eyes met mine. She has access to your passwords, doesn't she? Of course she did. Best friends share everything. This stops now, Mateo said from the doorway, making us both jump. We're calling the police. No, I said quickly. Not yet. If we move too soon, they'll destroy the evidence. Isabel nodded slowly. The gallery's annual gala is next week. They're planning to announce their engagement there. How do you know? I asked. Carrie's been bragging about it in the break room. Isabel's lip curled. Apparently, it's going to be magical. I felt a cold smile spread across my face. Yes, it will be. Madison. Mateo's warning tone was back. Trust me, I said, already forming a plan. The gala will be exactly what they deserve. Isabel closed her laptop. Whatever you're planning, I want in. Nobody steals from my gallery. This is a terrible idea, Mateo sighed, but I saw the resolve in his eyes. But I'm not letting you do it alone. Looking at them both, I felt tears prick my eyes. These were real friends, the kind who stand with you, not stab you in the back. Thank you, I whispered. Now, let's talk about how we're going to crash a party. You need to see this, Isabel whispered, pulling me into the supply closet. She held up her phone, showing me an email chain between Aaron and Carrie. My breath caught. Is that a plan to drain the gallery's emergency fund after their honeymoon? Yes. Isabel's fingers trembled as she scrolled. They're talking about $500,000. But that's the restoration budget for next year's exhibits, I said, my voice cracking. We'll lose everything. The closet door opened, making us both jump. Mateo slipped in, his face grim. It's worse. I just overheard Aaron on the phone. They're planning to pin the whole thing on you. What? Your login credentials, your signatures. They've created a paper trail leading straight to you. He touched my arm gently. Madison, they're setting you up to take the fall. I leaned against the wall, feeling sick. They're not just stealing my money. They want to destroy my career. Not if we stop them first, Isabel said firmly. But we need more than emails. We need bank records, transfer authorizations, and we need them before the gala. I finished. But how? Mateo pulled out a security badge. Aaron leaves his laptop in his office during lunch, every day like clockwork. That's in 2 hours. Isabel checked her watch. But his office is locked, and there are cameras. The cameras will be down for maintenance, Mateo said with a slight smile. For exactly 17 minutes. I stared at them both. You'd risk your jobs for me? They're not just stealing from you, Isabel said. They're stealing from all of us. This gallery is our home. A knock at the door made us freeze. Madison, Carrie's voice called out. Are you in there? We need to discuss the gala seating arrangements. I opened the door, forcing a smile. Sorry, just looking for extra name cards. Carrie beamed, all innocence and fake warmth. Perfect. I was thinking you could sit at table 12. It's, by the kitchen. Away from the main action. Away from her moment. Actually, I said sweetly, I was thinking of bringing a date. Her smile flickered. Oh, who? It's a surprise. I stepped past her. But trust me, everyone will want to meet them. As I walked away, I heard Isabel make an excuse and follow me. 17 minutes, she whispered. Can you do it? I thought of every lie, every betrayal, every moment they'd plotted against me while smiling to my face. Watch me. The game was changing. They thought they were ruining my life, but they'd just given me everything I needed to ruin theirs. 3 minutes left. Mateo's voice crackled through the earpiece as I rummaged through Aaron's desk drawers. My hands shook as I copied files from his laptop to my drive. Got it, I whispered, pulling the drive free. Then I saw it, a small black notebook tucked behind his monitor. Inside were account numbers, passwords, and dates, all in Aaron's precise handwriting. Someone's coming, Mateo warned. Get out now. I snapped a photo of the notebook pages and slipped out the back door just as voices approached from the hallway. Heart pounding, I ducked into the women's restroom. Madison? Ria's voice made me jump. She was fixing her makeup in the mirror. Are you okay? You look intense. I hadn't spoken to Ria since the betrayal. She was friends with both Carrie and me, straddling an impossible line. I'm fine, I said, straightening my blouse. Just stressed about the gala. Right. She hesitated. Listen, about Carrie and Aaron. Did you know? The words came out sharper than intended. Her reflection wouldn't meet my eyes. I suspected, but I didn't want to believe it. Some friend you are. That's not fair. She turned to face me. I tried to hint at it. Remember when I told you Aaron was acting shady at that business dinner? Or when I suggested you surprise him at work? Memory hit like a slap. She had tried to warn me, in her own way. I'm sorry, I said softly. I trusted them completely. I know. She touched my arm. And that's why what I'm about to tell you is important. I overheard Carrie on the phone yesterday. They're moving up their plans. Whatever they're going to do, it's happening at the gala. My blood ran cold. Tomorrow night? Yes. She squeezed my arm. Be careful, Madison. They're not who we thought they were. Back in my office, I found Mateo and Isabel waiting. We have a problem, Isabel said, showing me her tablet. They've already started moving small amounts, testing the waters. Then we move tonight, I said, pulling out the drive. Everything we need is here. Bank records, emails, transfer authorizations. It's not enough, Mateo interrupted. We need them to confess. On record. I sank into my chair, the weight of tomorrow pressing down. How? I might have an idea, Isabel said slowly, but you're not going to like it. She was right. I didn't like it, but as she laid out the plan, I realized it was perfect, terrible, and perfect. Okay, I said finally. Let's do it. But first, I need to make a call. It was time to bring in someone they'd never expect. I can't do this, I said, pacing my apartment. The gala was in 12 hours, and my courage was failing. What if we're wrong? What if... Stop. Mateo grabbed my shoulders. Look at what I found in their trash. He held up a shredded document, painstakingly reassembled, a transfer authorization for the gallery's entire emergency fund, dated for tomorrow night. They're really gonna do it, I whispered, and blame you for everything. He shook the paper. This has your forged signature on it. My phone buzzed, Carrie calling for the 5th time today. I let it ring. She's nervous, Isabel said from my couch, where she was setting up recording equipment. They both are. Rhea says Aaron's been making weird calls all morning. Speaking of calls, Mateo checked his watch. Your surprise guest should be here any minute. Right on cue, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find a tall woman in a crisp suit. Detective Sarah Morris, she said, showing her badge. Financial Crimes Division. Ms. Isabel called me. My hands trembled. Thank you for coming. Don't thank me yet. She set her briefcase on my coffee table. What you're proposing is risky. One wrong move and they could destroy the evidence. Or worse, Mateo added, they could hurt you. They already have, I said quietly. Detective Morris pulled out several small devices. These are recording devices, legally sanctioned. Wear them tonight. Get them talking about the money. Once they confess, we move in. And if they don't confess, they will. Isabel stood up. Because you're going to give them exactly what they want, a chance to gloat. My phone buzzed again. A text from Aaron. Please come early tonight. We need to talk before the announcement. Perfect timing, Detective Morris said. That's your opening. I stared at the message, feeling sick. I don't know if I can face them. Madison. Mateo took my hand. Remember who you are. You're not their victim anymore. You're their worst nightmare. He's right, Isabel added. They chose you because they thought you were weak. Show them how wrong they were. Detective Morris handed me the smallest recording device, a delicate pendant necklace. Wear this, we'll be listening. At the first sign of trouble, we'll be there. I clasped the necklace, its weight both comforting and terrifying. In 12 hours, everything would change. Either I'd expose their betrayal and save the gallery, or I'd lose everything trying. Okay, I said, straightening my shoulders. Let's give them a night they'll never forget. The pieces were in place. The trap was set. Now all I had to do was spring it. The gallery sparkled with champagne glasses and evening gowns. I arrived early, just as Aaron requested, finding him and Carrie in his office. Madison, Carrie's smile wavered. You look amazing. I smoothed my red dress, the same shade as the lingerie they'd texted about. Wouldn't miss this for the world. Listen, Aaron stepped forward. About the announcement tonight. Oh, you mean your engagement? I touched my necklace. Or the $500,000 you're stealing. Their faces drained of color. What are you talking about? Carrie's voice shook. Drop the act. I pulled out Aaron's notebook. I found this and the transfer authorizations with my forged signature. Aaron moved quickly, snatching the notebook. Where's the rest? Safe. I met his eyes, along with copies of every email, every transaction, every plan you made to frame me. You're bluffing, Carrie said, but fear crept into her voice. Am I? Check your accounts. Those test transfers you made, already reversed. Aaron grabbed his phone, cursing as he saw the notifications. You little. Careful, I warned. You wouldn't want to cause a scene, not with all those donors outside. What do you want? Carrie asked. Confess, now. Tell me everything. They exchanged glances. Then Aaron laughed, a cold, harsh sound. Or what? You'll tell everyone? Who'll believe you over us? You're right. I moved toward the door. Maybe I should ask the police instead. Wait, Carrie grabbed my arm. We can explain. The money, it wasn't just for us. The gallery's failing. We needed startup capital for our own place. So you decided to steal it? Frame me? You were the perfect scapegoat, Aaron said smugly. So trusting, so naive. Everyone would believe you mismanaged the funds. While we started fresh, Carrie added, we just, we deserved more than this place. And I deserved better than you both. I touched my necklace again. Thank you for the confession. Their expressions changed as Detective Morris stepped in, flanked by officers. Behind them stood Mateo, Isabel, and Rhea, all holding phones that had been recording. Aaron and Carrie, Detective Morris said, you're under arrest for conspiracy to commit fraud, embezzlement, and identity theft. You set us up, Carrie whispered as handcuffs clicked around her wrists. No, I replied. You did that yourselves. As they were led out through the back entrance, Mateo touched my shoulder. The guests are waiting. What do you want to do about the announcement? I straightened my dress, feeling lighter than I had in months. Oh, I think I have something to say. Walking toward the main gallery, I heard the murmur of the crowd, waiting for tonight's big revelation. They wouldn't be disappointed. The gallery buzzed with whispers as I took the podium. Camera flashes popped from the press section, not here for the planned engagement announcement, but for the breaking scandal. Thank you all for coming, I began, my voice steady. Tonight was meant to be about love and celebration. Instead, it's about truth. I saw Rhea in the crowd, nodding encouragement. Isabel stood near the emergency exit, thumb hovering over her phone to play the confession if needed. This gallery has been my home, our home, for years. Tonight we discovered some trusted members of our family planned to betray that trust. They've been arrested, and every dollar they attempted to steal will be recovered. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Mateo stepped closer to the podium, a silent guardian. But that's not why I'm here. I smiled, genuine for the first time in weeks. I'm here to announce that thanks to our incredible security team and our brilliant accounting department, the gallery is launching a new restoration project, one that will ensure our art remains protected for generations to come. Applause broke out. In the back, Detective Morris gave me a subtle thumbs up. To those who thought they could use my trust against me, I continued, my voice carrying to every corner. Thank you. You taught me that sometimes the most beautiful restorations come after the worst destruction. More applause. Someone shouted, Bravo! Now, I gestured to the waiting servers. Please enjoy the champagne. The real celebration is just beginning. As the crowd dispersed, Mateo touched my elbow. That was perfect. It was true, I said, watching guests mingle beneath the gallery lights. Everything feels clearer now. Speaking of clear, he shifted nervously. I've been wanting to tell you. I know. I turned to face him. I've always known. Oh, his face fell slightly. And? And I took his hand, that maybe it's time for me to trust again. Slowly. His smile lit up his entire face. Slowly works for me. Madison, Isabel called out, hurrying over. The police found something else in Aaron's office. Plans for other galleries they were targeting. This goes way beyond us. Then we'll help stop them, I said firmly. All of us, together. Looking around at my real friends, Mateo's steady presence, Isabel's fierce loyalty, Ria's gentle support. I felt something settle in my chest. The betrayal had cracked me open, yes, but what rushed in wasn't darkness. It was strength. So, Mateo squeezed my hand. What's next? I looked up at the magnificent art surrounding us, each piece telling its own story of survival and beauty. Next, I smiled, we create something new,